The wizarding world is home to some of the most evil villains in fiction. While watching the series, we've got to see two of the darkest wizards of all time, Lord Voldemort, and before his time there was Gellert Grindelwald. Now there are debates all over the place about which one is considered more powerful than the other, analyzing each other's magical abilities and so on. But in this video, I'm going to show you that although these two wizards are sharing the same side of evilness, they are completely not alike. Okay, first let's discuss death. One of the defining facts of Lord Voldemort's character is that he feared death. That's why he went to such great extremes to prevent it. The creation of his Horcruxes. Grindelwald, on the other hand, didn't fear death, which made him more powerful in many ways. He wasn't limited by anything. He also didn't fear Dumbledore the same way that Voldemort did. There is an excellent chance that Grindelwald knew how to create Horcruxes, given his in-depth studies of dark arts, but he never felt the need to make them, leaving his soul intact. Grindelwald was capable of playing the long game while Voldemort was rash and guided by his obsessive fear of leaving the mortal world. After Grindelwald was arrested and thrown into a jail cell, he became vulnerable to Voldemort, who was desperate to find the Elder Wand. However, Grindelwald was able to resist Voldemort, who is considered the most powerful legilimens of all time. He didn't reveal the location of the wand as his final act of redemption. He even tempted Voldemort and showed no fear in the face of his potential death. Again, another thing he had over Voldemort. Now perhaps some people would say that one of the most significant ways Voldemort won over Grindelwald is that he was the one who killed the other dark wizard. That said, Grindelwald wasn't at the height of his power, so it wasn't a fair fight. Voldemort only killed him because he was frustrated, in a rush to go after Harry, and realized that Grindelwald wasn't going to give him the location of the Elder Wand. Now let's talk about the army of both wizards. While Voldemort had his Death Eaters, Grindelwald has his Acolytes. In some ways, the Acolytes were a more loyal group than the Death Eaters because of a clever test set forth by the Dark Wizard. He used a circle of protective fire to test the loyalty of those who claimed to pledge themselves to him, something that Voldemort should have considered. Many of the Death Eaters defected from Voldemort or betrayed them. Grindelwald weeded out those who were unsure with his fire test that killed anyone with second thoughts. When talking about special and unique magical abilities, Voldemort was a renowned Parselmouth, which aided him in many times. Given his control over all things serpent, Voldemort had a power ally known as Nagini. She was never a servant of Grindelwald. Without Nagini, it's possible that Voldemort would not have been able to return to full power. She, along with Peter, were the only living beings that Voldemort kept with him while in his weakened state, and they helped get him back to his power. In terms of collecting magical items, Voldemort had seemingly found a way to become immortal in the form of Horcruxes, splitting his soul into 7 pieces. Voldemort was nearly invincible. Each Horcrux had a way of defending itself, while Grindelwald's quest, on the other hand, involved finding items that would make him a master of death, the Deathly Hallows. Speaking of the Deathly Hallows, Grindelwald and Voldemort both had the Elder Wand at certain times, but there was a big difference in how each used it. Voldemort was an extraordinary wizard, but the Elder Wand never obeyed him. It answered to Harry the entire time. Grindelwald, on the other hand, was the master of the Elder Wand at the time. He was shown to conjure spells that most wizards would never even dream of achieving. It took multiple authors and wizards to fight off his deadly fire spell at the end of the film. Voldemort had power, but not the power of the Elder Wand. Now let's talk about persuading. Grindelwald was a master of speech. When he was imprisoned by the Ministry of Magic, they cut out his tongue because of how persuasive he was. When Grindelwald got out and began gathering followers across Europe, that silver tongue became evident. He had speeches about the true rights of both wizards and muggles, while in Voldemort's case, there were people who joined him just because he was evil and out of fear. Those that fight alongside Grindelwald felt that they were fighting for the greater good, that made his followers potentially more threatening. Voldemort and Grindelwald were both great at dueling, but Grindelwald surpasses the Dark Lord. Voldemort dueled Dumbledore, but Dumbledore always had the upper hand. It wasn't until Dumbledore's death that Voldemort invaded Hogwarts. However, Grindelwald managed to duel Dumbledore when he was much younger and full of energy. The duel was so epic that it became the Staff of Legend. While Dumbledore came out on top in the end, he even admitted to Harry that Grindelwald was very close to him in skill. Voldemort wouldn't stand a chance to a duel duel against Grindelwald. He was much too skilled. What about conquering? Grindelwald, in just 6 years, he managed to conquer just about all of Europe, which led to a global wizarding war. Voldemort conquered a good chunk of Europe, but it took him 14 years to get anywhere close to Grindelwald's section. The only way Grindelwald was stopped and the war ended was by Dumbledore. Voldemort was stopped by none other than Harry, a 17-year-old boy. Now this leads us to this question: who is more powerful, Voldemort or Grindelwald? I'm gonna leave you to answer this question in the comments down below. If you wanna know every character Voldemort killed in Harry Potter, click on this video over here. Thanks for watching and I'll see you again soon.